Awareness, deconstructing consciousness. I never could have anticipated what I'm experiencing at this particular juncture in my life. Each and every moment arises with new perspective, wisdom, and insights, forever changing and evolving in dismantling of this harmonic lattice work and evolving into more and more awareness, that is experiencing more of self as awareness in physicality. One must be able to surrender to one's unfoldment and embrace the mystery and the magic that is to unfold for you, me. You have to imagine, if you can, that your life is going to be different than what you ever thought it could be. This is about transcending the physical aspect of who and what you thought you were and embracing the greatness in the totality of who you are becoming as awareness. I've been having some very interesting phenomena and anomalies that have been happening, and I will share more of that with you. I just sort of had to sit with what I've been experiencing because it is different than what I normally experience, and so I rest in that space of stillness, trying to understand what is happening within my reality construct that is metamorphosizing itself as I dismantle, or this system of consciousness is dismantling, and therefore I am transcending my environment. This third dimensional construct no longer holds the mind and the thought process that are not mine, but that I use within this system of consciousness. And so as I shape and mold this virtual construct overlay that I am creating through this system of consciousness, it is a virtual reality construct that is mirroring or reflecting the frequency at which I am oscillating at now through the transcendence that I am experiencing. So what is coming up for you in your life? There is definitely a shift in energy around relationships and boundaries. There is also a definite shift in understanding that there is something unraveling within each and every one of us that is psychical as opposed to physical, and that more and more of us are coming to know and experience our psychic abilities. That is the new phenomena, anomalies that I speak of, but we are each and every one of us experiencing the different phenomena and anomalies as we transcend this system of consciousness, and yet the external reflective power control force are imposing their interesting phenomena and anomalies to mirror the new energy, this real energy, this higher frequency, vibratory energy within the system of consciousness that is now accessible to more of those who are able to transcend the physical matrix. That being said, we must come to understand or understand that this transcendence into higher frequencies and psychical abilities is still a part of the program of this system of consciousness. Remember, the universal architects, they created the natural order of creation and the unnatural order of creation. And so as much as I believe that I am transcending or have transcended this system of consciousness, and that I experience self as awareness outside of this universe, outside of the Milky Way galaxy, outside of the solar system, and outside of this physical world system, that I am still immersed in a programmed reality. I am very aware of that. Yesterday, the energies were very challenging, and I was wondering about this particular day, July 22nd. I was wondering what would happen on July 22nd, because that was the day that this time last year, Prince George was born. So I was a little bit curious as to what would happen on July 22nd. And then I just kind of didn't dawn on me until yesterday. I was not feeling as elated as I have been. I can see that this shift in frequency had culminated in a peak experience yesterday in which I didn't feel as vibrant as I normally have been feeling. And so it just reminds me that I am under a programmed reality, but I have some astrological background that I tap into and understand that the program, this soul blueprint, is the blueprint in which is the programming device that each and every one of us is under. So I can look at my progressions for the year, and lo and behold, I check my progressions for July 22nd, and there was a very significant planetary alignment that I was up against. So I was able to put things in perspective and not feed into the energy that I was feeling. It was a very old, familiar current of energy that reminded me very much of my old 3D experience. So I constantly remind myself, I have transcended this physical world system and this consciousness system to a certain extent. There is a part of me that is still immersed in 3D, third dimension, because I am experiencing physical form. Is there a possibility that one can transcend this physical world existence by being in this physical world existence? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see if that happens. But in order to do that, in order to transcend this physical dimension, one would have to be in a place of complete detachment from this system and never be able to be affected by any of the negativity. Because as awareness, that would be the ultimate experience in physical form. That one would be able to be so detached that whatever negativity came through the physical form, that as awareness, it would dissolve instantaneously. That is when I believe that we can manifest instantaneously, because you have to put it in perspective. When I talk about instantaneous manifestation, instantaneous transformation, these are concepts or ideas that are becoming more and more accessible to each and every one of us as we transcend our environment and experience more self as awareness. This concept of living in opulence, just simply resting in a constant state of paradise, which I do, but I constantly ponder, why is this idea, concept of living in opulence transpiring for me at this particular time? Because it still is a program within the system of consciousness, but it is part of the natural order of creation. And so for those of us who are coming to know self as awareness, are moving towards the natural order of creation within the system of consciousness. Therefore, what we are up against, and many of us are defining for ourselves or becoming less tolerant of, those individuals or situations or events in our lives that keep showing up that are negative. We are deciding that we are not wanting to be around certain people. You're probably experiencing that. So what's showing up for you in your life that you are saying no to? Because whatever it is that's showing up in your life that you are saying no to is a point in which you are moving into alignment with your true self. That which you are as awareness, and that you are going to be moving more and more into a frequency where you are experiencing less and less negativity. That is an ultimate goal to have. So I'm going to talk to you today about awareness deconstructing consciousness by transcending the third dimensional survival program matrix. This is an article that I'm posted in the awareness model, and you can read at your leisure in the description. I'll post it there. I'm also going to post a radio interview that I did last week Friday with Michael Discerne again, Gaia Sophia Dreaming, his radio show. I was on there for the first hour and a bit. I'll post that in the description, and you can listen to that at your leisure if you would like. It was a very good interview. So I want to talk to you first about consciousness, the word consciousness, and I'll show you how it's broken up and what it means. But first, ideas or concepts not only merge within the system of consciousness or quantum intelligence. The system of consciousness is a system of intelligence. It's a fabric, a lattice work, and on this fabric or lattice work is all the intelligence that exists and all the possibilities that exist that could potentially be created within this system of consciousness. And what we are experiencing on the physical world system is a possibility that is manifested through the creative potential of awareness. But it's an idea, it's a concept that it has evolved through time. So ideas and concepts, they shape and form our awareness. So remember, awareness is malleable. Awareness is susceptible, can be easily seduced, is malleable, is transcendent, is childlike, can easily be manipulated. Awareness that is you. Childlike, it's pure in its essence. So pure that between you and the next person or the next object, there is just this air, space. That is awareness. When you take an in-breath, that is awareness. And when you breathe out, that is awareness. It's the breath. It's seamless. It's clear. So the space between you and the next person, that is awareness. Awareness pervades everything. And if I were to put a blank piece of paper in front of you, not a blank piece of paper with lines on it, but just a blank piece of paper, that is consciousness, that blank piece of paper. So if you have that in front of your face, that blank piece of paper, that's consciousness, that blank canvas. And on that blank canvas is all of the creative potential or possibilities that can arise out of that blank piece of paper, that blank canvas. And if you just take that that piece of paper away, you just have air around you. That's awareness. Hope I'm explaining it in a way that you can understand or understand. Ideas or concepts not only emerge within the system of consciousness or quantum intelligence, they also shape and form our awareness. Because remember, awareness is malleable, can be easily seduced, can be easily manipulated. That is, ideas and concepts can do so only because they are themselves shaping or figurations of consciousness. As such, however, every idea or concept is potentially capable of totally reshaping and transforming your awareness. Because concepts and ideas are patterns. Patterns are used to shape your awareness. And patterns and ideas, concepts that shape your awareness are able to configure entirely new field of consciousness that is shaped and patterned by it. So let's look at the word consciousness. Con. From a verb standpoint, con means to persuade someone to do or believe something, typically by use of a deception. Noun, an instance of deceiving or tricking someone. Just, S-C-I-O-U-S, means knowing, having knowledge. Ness means denoting quality and state. I encourage you to look this up for yourself so you know. So consciousness, in essence, means tricking and deceiving someone through knowledge. Again, consciousness, when you put the meaning together, when you take each of the parts, put it together, consciousness means tricking and deceiving someone through knowledge. So that's what consciousness means. And you may be saying to yourself, well, Kerrace, I don't think that the power control force mean that. You know, you're just putting more into it. No, I'm not. That's exactly what consciousness means. It's a spell. Words are used as spells in order to trick you into believing something else. So basically, they're tricking, deceiving someone through knowledge. The consciousness, the system of consciousness, this field, this quantum field of intelligence is used to trick and deceive you through knowledge, because awareness is all-knowing and wise. Awareness is wisdom. So all that the system of consciousness is doing is trying to mirror your wisdom, your awareness, and trick you into believing through their deceptive knowledge, through language and all their intellectual systems, that this system is the real deal. They've created stories and narratives that are fake. And as you come to know self as awareness, you have to use discernment to see through the fakery and the trickery and all their fake tech and all their fake religion. It gets fun after a while. You are able to see through the deception. Don't be fearful of being able to see as awareness, because as awareness, you're all-knowing and wise, and it's simply because you have stepped down from your greatness into this system of lower vibratory sphere where so many are, I believe they are their environment. So we're going to go into that. You can break down the word consciousness just as I have done. Awareness, deconstructing consciousness, and transcending the third dimensional survival program matrix. I wanted to do this piece before I did the law of opulence, because this is very critical. I may even do one more on light, on the concept of light, because light is used as trickery. That is what has seduced you into the system of consciousness, the light. That is the atom, proton, and the electron. I'll have to do another piece on that. Then I'll move into the law of opulence, and then we're going to spend a lot of time on using our psychic ability to create and manifest instantaneously, because that's the trajectory that awareness deconstructing consciousness we are moving into, and that I'm sharing through my own experience and metamorphosis, my own transcendence of the system of consciousness. So the system of consciousness is a field energy or a quantum field of intelligence, and the reason we experience ourselves more as physical beings than as beings of energy is because the power control force have created a survival-oriented environment through their scripts and narratives designed to keep us or humanity in a lower frequency or lower energy emotions, creating an overproduction of stress hormones that create the human emotions, anger, fear, envy, and hatred, which incites feelings of aggression, frustration, anxiety, and insecurity, and causes us to experience pain and suffering, sadness, helplessness, and depression. These are all concepts within this system of consciousness. Remember, awareness does not experience fear. Awareness does not experience anger. Awareness does not experience envy or hatred. Awareness is not aggressive, does not experience frustration, anxiety, and insecurity. Awareness does not experience pain and suffering, sadness, hopelessness, or depression. These are all concepts within the system of consciousness. They are not and never will be concepts or the experience of awareness. Most people spend their time preoccupied with negative thoughts and feelings. And this is so critical because you cannot instantaneously manifest, or you should not want to be manifesting instantaneously if you're still immersed in negative thought forms. Because just as you want to create through awareness the positive, all that is positive and all that is good, if you're still vibrating in the lower frequencies of negative thoughts and feelings, then you will also manifest those as well instantaneously. So you can see why when we move into the realm of instantaneous manifestation, we must be in a position where we can oscillate at the highest frequency as awareness, only experiencing positive thought forms. So negativity runs so high because we are either living in anticipation of stress or we experiencing stress through a memory. So most of our thoughts and feelings are driven by the strong hormones of stress and survival. This is how the power control force controls the subconscious mind of humanity through the media by spoon feeding you negativity through the media. When the stress response is triggered, we focus our attention on 3 key areas: the body, the environment, and time. We are trying to, as I mentioned in my last audio, how I was very fixated on dissecting the conspiracies and how I got tricked into believing that I needed to find a place that was safe for me. It's because I was still immersed in the program, believing that the information that was being spoon-fed to me was really going to transpire within my life. And so, as awareness, because I can be easily seduced and manipulated, I bought into the survival program or the need to find a safe place. Fascinating how they can pull this off with so many. So negativity runs so high because we are either living in anticipation of stress or re-experiencing stress through a memory. So most of our thoughts and feelings are driven by the strong hormones of stress and survival. This is how the power control force controls the subconscious mind of humanity through the media. When the stress response is triggered, we focus our attention on 3 key areas: the body, again, the environment, and time. As a result, we define ourselves within the confines of the physical realm. We lose sense of our true self as awareness. Therefore, we become less aware, less conscious, less mindful. We become materialist, that is, habitually consumed by thought or things in the external environment. Our identity becomes wrapped up in our bodies, causing us only to associate who we are with what we know and the things that we do. Now, if we are operating in a lower frequency or the lower energy emotion continuously being triggered by stress hormones of fight or flight, which creates human emotions as physical beings, we limit ourselves perceiving only with our physical senses, such as anger, fear, envy, and hatred, which incites feelings of aggression, frustration, anxiety, and insecurity. You know, we all have those feelings that arise, which causes us to experience pain, suffering, sadness, hopelessness, and depression. This creates a wonderful cocktail for the power controlled force to feed off our energy. We are a source of fuel for the power control force, and this is why they feed us all this negativity through their narratives and script in order to keep the energy of humanity in a lower vibratory state, thereby being able to keep us prisoners within this 3D matrix which they have designed for us. The more we use our senses to determine our reality, regardless of whether one is spiritual, we remain locked in the past. Focus on his story, history, someone else's narrative, someone else's story. That is the power control force intricately designed your history so that you would focus on the past, forever keeping you in the loop trying to predict future based on some past experience. Only create an environment where you are trying to control your reality instead of surrendering to something greater than your current environment. Therefore, all we're doing is trying to survive in this 3rd-dimensional matrix. But again, that's all by design. When the stress response is turned on, whether in response to a real or conjured up threat posed by the narratives and script that we hear through the media, powerful cascade of chemicals rush into our system, our biological system, and gives us a strong jolt of energy, waking up our bodies and certain parts of the brain. And this becomes very, very addictive, which is why people find it hard to go within and leave this self-imposed reality behind. How would we know who we are if it were not for our environment, our body, and time? This is why, by design, we are so dependent on the external world. We limit ourselves to using our senses to define and cultivate our emotions so that we can receive the physiological feedback that affirms our personal addiction, and we do this in order to feel human. Brilliant! The power control force. They understand awareness inside out, so they've designed a system in order to keep you in their survival program. And what I'm outlining here is how they are doing this. Therefore, it makes sense as awareness, deconstructing consciousness, that we break our addiction to the primitive survival emotion so that our energy will vibrate in a higher frequency, allowing us to become less rooted in the body, which has become the mind, whereby liberating our essence as awareness from the body so that we can experience the universal intelligence of consciousness, allowing each of us to discern the difference between the system of consciousness and awareness, which is the ultimate reality. So this is very important because it is this addiction to this primitive survival emotion that tie up our energy in these lower frequencies, never allowing us to experience the higher frequency. So whenever you are immersed in negativity, you are in the third dimensional survival matrix. And whenever you are in a state of positive emotions, just know that you are in alignment with awareness. So you can use that as a marker in your life now. Whenever any negativity comes up in your life or you're experiencing negative thoughts, you just say, oh, I'm in 3D. And when you are experiencing positive thoughts, oh, I'm moving into alignment. I'm in alignment with the truth of who I am as awareness. So you can use that as a buffer, as a gauge to monitor your negative thought process. Because as we move into these higher frequencies, all it's doing is bringing up your emotional stuff, the negativity. It illuminates, it brings light to the negativity that you're holding within your biological vehicle. And now that negativity is needing to be released so that more awareness can experience itself through you. But it can't experience itself through you if you are engrossed in negative thought process. So the more we define reality through our senses, the more this reality becomes our law. The material reality as law is very opposite of the quantum law of the system of consciousness. And from the standpoint of awareness, whatever you place your awareness on is your reality. Therefore, if our attention is focused on the body and our physical realm, and we become locked in a particular line of linear time and thought process, then that becomes our reality. In closing, the greatest individuals in history were unwaveringly committed to a future destiny without any need for immediate feedback from the environment. Their minds were ahead of their present environment because their environment no longer controlled their thinking. They were clear in their minds about exactly what they wanted happen. A vision of the future reality existed beyond their senses and their physical world reality. When one holds a dream independent of their environment, this is greatness. So I thank you so much for tuning in. It truly is a glorious time to be here. And so we must transcend our environment and create psychically the world in which we want, using our psychic ability. And you may be saying to yourself, well, that seems like a tall order, Kerrace. How am I going to do that? Well, we're learning how to do that through awareness, deconstructing consciousness. We have to figure this out on our own because the power control force know all this, but they are withholding that information from us in order to make sure that this system of consciousness keeps running. And so as more of us learn how to use our psychic abilities and to create and manifest instantaneously and live in a state of opulence that mirrors our awareness, then this system of consciousness will dissolve. Because as long as humanity identifies with the body and their environment and time, they will always be a slave to this system of consciousness. And so it is for those of us that have the capacity to transcend the physical reality, the environment that we have been immersed in, and to be able to cultivate and use our mind, that as more of us are able to do that, it's like a ripple effect. More and more of humanity will want to learn how to use the mind and create psychically. So it truly is a glorious time. Thank you so much for tuning in, and the journey continues.